Hello, fellow 325ers. My name is Ben Kozad, and I'm going to be discussing my project hopefully for the next 5 minutes. We'll see if I can get it that far. Um, just to start you off, just give you some context for the rest of the presentation. I'll first kind of talk about my argument I make in my paper and the direction that I went with it. So, really, what the main kind of topic and argument I make is I state that America is and kind of always has been made up of primarily unwanted immigrant populations. At least they were unwanted at one time, and they were able to persist and weave themselves into the fabric of American culture, kind of with persistence and hard work. And I really discuss this topic in the context of the Irish immigration. Um, so to give you an idea about some of my sources. So the first source I discuss or I use is it's a letter between two family members. It's called "There Is Neither Employment Nor Food." This letter is written in 1846. It's really talking about some of the kind of conditions that were in Dublin at the time or in Ireland. Kind of gives some context of kind of push and pull factors as to why people were immigrating out of Ireland and coming kind of to the United States for opportunity, but also kind of fleeing some pretty bad conditions back in Ireland. And then the second one I use is another letter. This letter's titled "Suffer for About the First 6 Months After Leaving Home." It's by John Doyle. He's talking to his wife, who's back home in Ireland. He really talks about some of the kind of opportunities in the United States, employment, and how he was kind of surprisingly able to get a job, but it's just those first 6 months that were kind of brutal and kind of tough. And then the third one I use is the Brooklyn Daily Eagle, which was a newspaper based out of the Brooklyn borough. And it's actually at one point like one of the largest distributed newspapers in the United States. And at one point, I think that it was Walt Whitman was a editor of the paper at one time, which I thought was kind of interesting. And the editorial, "The House and the Tenants," that's what it was titled. But it really talks about some of the nativist ideas of some of the groups in the United States at the time and how they really didn't like the Irish all that much, and especially they didn't like the wholesale Irish immigration. The author refers to the Irish at one point as paupers and convicts, and I just think it gives really good perspective on kind of the anti-Irish sentiments and kind of the things that they had to overcome and some of the ideas that they had to overcome. And my fourth source, which I really used to kind of just supplement my paper, was the Irish Immigrants in the Land of Canaan, which is just a series of letters and memoirs that were written between 1675 and 1815. And they just give really good context on some kind of the causes and processes of Irish immigration, as well as like some of the jobs people were holding at the time, where they were fitting in the workforce. And that sums up my sources. Finally, the legacy of immigration and how my ideas have changed throughout the class. To be honest with you, I was really kind of ignorant to immigration in the United States. I have like the basic understood the colonial period and kind of the basics that you get in school and kind of in grade school and through high school history classes. But I really didn't. I was kind of surprised by how racially charged some of our policies were, specifically like 1924. How specifically in policy was written to kind of discriminate against certain groups. I'd never really realized that it was so official. Like I understood that culturally speaking, there was discrimination that was taking place and groups were put down, but I didn't really realize that it was written into law as it was. was. Um, so yeah, those are really kind of eye opening and interesting to hear. And then yeah, like moving into 1965, how we're really operating off of kind of legislation and laws that were written, going on, half a century ago is kind of crazy. Um, but yeah, I've really enjoyed the class so far, and I look forward to kind of seeing more of your videos and seeing some of the topics people are talking about. Everything I've watched so far has been really interesting. So yeah, good luck with the rest of the semester, and thanks for watching.